So I'm Akshay Gupta, and I'll be taking your current affairs classes. Nitin sir has assigned me the responsibility of taking these classes for you guys. And a brief background about myself: I am currently working as a credit risk analyst with the American Express, and I've done my MBA from IIFT. I graduated in the year 2016, like nearly 2 years now. And I did my engineering in computer engineering from NSIT Delhi. And I've been born and brought up in Delhi itself. I did my schooling and the entire education in Delhi itself. And Nitin sir was my mentor when I was preparing for CAT. And so I had kind of gotten calls from different times, but eventually I went to IIFT at that time, and then 14-16 batch is what I um, is during which I studied from IIFT, and now I'm working with American Express. So this is a brief background about me, and it'll be great if we can get some kind of a breakup of the crowd, like what are the backgrounds of the people who are sitting here, and just a second. If you could briefly tell me about yourself, like a one-liner maybe in the chat window, like whether you have done your where are you from where you have done your engineering, or whatever was your undergraduate background. If you could just tell me, so that will help me plan the sessions ahead. Okay. Hi, Anudeep. Okay. You've done your engineering. Okay. Pravneet, hi. Okay. Economics honors from DU. Okay. All right. Hi, Rohit. Ashima God. Okay. Hi. You're from Delhi too, and you've done your BTech from IP University. All right. That's great. Ankit Purwar. Hi. EC from NIT Silchar. Okay. Nice. Okay. Mayank. Hi. Engineering in 2014. Okay. Working with TCS. Nice. Okay. Great. Okay, Rohit. Mumbai University. Okay. Nice. I'll be turning off my video, I think, from now on. Now you have seen my face, so I think that is no more needed. I'll be just be communicating with you through the chats as well as through the voice as well as the whiteboard. Okay. All right. Atul Tiwari. Nice. Nihar. Pratik Jain. Okay. Family business. Okay. PS Institute. Vinita. Okay. Hi. Great. Okay, so there's a mix of engineers as well as people who have done their BCom honors, as well as Government College of Aurangabad. Okay, okay, mostly engineers again. So that has been the story in the whole MBA world. Most of the folks are engineers, and yeah, so. But okay, I have my own views and opinions about CAT. We can maybe go through it later on, whether things are biased or not biased against engineers or not. So yeah, we can definitely take that up later. But yeah, okay. So to begin with, um, so current affairs, the general knowledge portion. So why? So first of all, I want to ask this question from all of you. Like, how is this current affairs like different from what you did in entrance exams versus Now, when you'll be appearing for your PI process, writing VAT exams, I got to know that the GD portion has been struck out from a lot of IM processes. It used to be there when we had our processes. So briefly, if somebody could tell me like how the two things will be are going to be different. Anybody who has any opinion about this? Okay, there's some problem with this. Hold on. Okay, let's start a portion more of current affairs. Okay, in interview we need complete knowledge. Good, that is a good answer. More statistics oriented GDs. Statistics oriented. Okay, you mean stats. Okay. In exams we had the options actually. Yeah, that is really the correct answer for this. In exams we had the options for everything, but in your interview processes you'll be um, required to be well versed with everything. If there is any topic that the interviewer is going to ask you during the interview, or if you are supposed to write an essay in your VAT exam, then you need to be well aware of different stats, different aspects related to it, and you might be even asked to tell about your opinion about some event going on. For example, it might be Padmavat, as we call it right now. Um, so Padmavati, what exactly is going on there, and how do you view that thing? And they can actually link it with women empowerment and stuff like that. So those are the things that we are actually. Okay, I'm facing some issue with this tablet. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I want to test this tablet. I'm using it for the first time actually, and okay, my handwriting. Okay, over here. General knowledge. Uh, okay, the entrance exams versus the GD, the PI process. Okay, so this is the first thing. So I'll briefly tell you about the how I tend to proceed. I have broadly, tried to divide the entire thing into four major things. So the first thing is why general knowledge, why general knowledge, and the second thing is types of general knowledge that we are gonna deal with. Um, Third thing is topic drill down, and the fourth thing is the sessions. So what all sessions we are gonna have and how we are exactly gonna move about it. So okay, so the first question I want to ask again, I need some inputs here. It'll be great, yeah. Like you are free to interrupt me wherever you want. These are general guidelines. Wherever you think you want to ask any question, you can interrupt me, and it'll be great if you keep participating about different things. I need your input right now. Why general knowledge? Why we are doing this thing in in this session. Any input? Any input from you guys? Am I audible to everyone? Okay, how aware are we about our surroundings? Okay. Okay, that is one thing, to be updated with the current issues happening. But why? Why do we need to be updated about current issues? Incidents around us that impact business. Okay, that is good. That is good. That is one one explanation why we are doing general knowledge. Why is it important to be abreast of current affairs when we are going to do our MBA, when we are going to pursue our MBAs? Businesses is one thing. Anyone else? Any to keep ourselves informed about the present scenario? Why? So that is again the question. To check, we have the ability to learn. Uh, ability to learn. Okay, it can be a really wide topic too. Okay, yeah. Okay, our opinion about different issues. Yes, managers are solution finders, so that we need to be aware of the problem to find its solution. Help us take better decisions. Okay, that is good. Good answers. I'm impressed by the thought process. Good. Okay, so why we are doing this in the first place? So what my take is that general knowledge is something that is not really taught in schools or colleges, right? So when I say that it is not being taught, so there was no really subject. It is not a part of our curriculums in our schools. This particular part, current affairs, it is something that you need to initiate on your own behalf. You have to do it yourself. Like nobody's gonna come and teach you that okay, this is going on in your surroundings, and you know, it is just to check. Um, in companies these days, it is very important right now that people who are recruited, they are initiative takers. So initiative could be of any form. For example, it could be participating in a club and or managing a particular club or being a part of the student council. That is in the colleges. But when you become part of the organization, so your efficiency, your acumen is tested on certain basis. So one of the important things is how much you are able to drive the business from your own end, how much you are able to actually this tendency of taking initiatives, how much that particular tendency is there within you. So this is something that is not taught to you in schools and colleges, and you have to pick it up from your own end. You have to uh, kind of take it forward from your um, own experiences and everything. So that is self-inculcated, and it is not something that is really taught to you. The second thing that I really think is there is critical reasoning. So this is something that has really come into limelight of late. So critical reasoning is what is critical reasoning? So critical reasoning is something like that displays your lateral thinking. So when suppose you are part of an IT company, and there you want to you are doing some you're working on a particular technology, and you are the manager of that particular um, technology, like of that particular team which is handling that technology. So it is very important to being you have to keep yourself abreast of what's going on in the market, and technology keeps changing. Like in the next, you currently have an iPhone, what iPhone? I think iPhone 8 is there, and okay, okay, iPhone X. All right, nice. Okay, iPhone X is there. So this technology face edition that they have come up with, so that is a really new thing, and not a lot of other phones had been using this particular technology. So you need to be what I mean to say is you need to be well versed about what's going on. Technology is going to become redundant in some period of time. It's going to change within the next 6 months. The next 6 months, you have maybe biometric scanning or whatever to um, to like you already have that thumb imprint. I think I'm not an iPhone user, so I don't really know. My phone, Samsung J7 Prime, has a thumb recognition technology, so I'm aware of that. And iPhone X, I am aware that okay, that has face recognition. So technology keeps changing. Every year there's a new iPhone, new technology, stuff like that. Okay, Moto G4. Okay, I'm not aware of that, but yeah, the basic point is that technology is changing. So drawing a similar analogy to whatever, if you're a manager and if you're trying to run a business, you're trying to manage a team, so you need to be more well aware. You are not an executioner who is receiving orders. You are actually in the driving seat. You are taking care of your team. Your team is like sitting inside the car, and you are the one who's driving the business everywhere, and you are the one who's doing the major contributions. So critical analysis is something like you tend to figure out the complete picture. So it might be the negatives of it, or it might be the positives of it, of anything. So new technology has come up. So how important is that particular technology? What are the negatives of it, and what are the positives of it? So critical reasoning is that. Lateral thinking is I use this term lateral thinking. So lateral thinking is really out of the box thinking. So I have that particular, if there is this maze and you are starting from here, and it has all these paths, and you have to, you know, emerge from this particular, yeah, unique set of ideas. So lateral thinking, so somebody traditionally will, what he'll do is he'll go inside and, do find out this particular path and, come out from there. Lateral thinking will mean, you come out from here and you reach here, you know, out of the box. So you started from here. Instead of going inside, you wanted to reach here. So, you went out and something of that sort. So lateral thinking is this out of the box thinking that you have. And companies, they really want people who have this kind of thinking. And all these thinking, these are all innate things. They don't really develop overnight. You have to work on these particular things. You may be even having such kind of ability, but then you may not be putting it to use. And in that case, so these things again, critical reasoning is one thing that I see that this critical reasoning gets sharpened when you are more well versed about things that are going on. Having that general knowledge is actually giving you that confidence, and it is nurturing that critical reasoning ability of yours. So lateral thinking and critical reasoning is another thing. And the next is of course something of your utility, like VAT topics. So the written aptitude test, I remember only IFT used to have it during my time. Now everybody has started having it. So it could be India, Pakistan, what's going on there. It's always in news. Israel, Palestine, maybe. What is Israel-Palestine problem? And the Israeli Prime Minister was in India recently. So, these things are very important. I'm not sure whether he has gone back. He was here for like for a week or so. Israel-Palestine relationship, as well as women in sports. These are all, VAT topics. So if you are aware of what's going on, who is Sunita Malakar, who is PV Sindhu, if you know about all these things, who is PV Sindhu, by the way? PV Sindhu? Shatla, okay. What was the most recent title that she had won? Anyone? Badminton तो सबको पता रहेगा. South Korea, Korean Open. Okay, okay, good. Okay, nice, nice, nice. So, so when you talk about women in sports, this can be a bad topic for you. But then you need to really substantiate using different stats. So you can talk about PV Sindhu and how she's inspiring a generation of girls. You can talk about Sunita Malakar. All these are female icons. Who's Sunita Malakar? हेलो अब यार गूगल नहीं करना है यार, दैट इज नॉट फेयर. नो नो. ओ माय गॉड. सुनीता मलाकर. नो. Nobody knows about it. सुनीता मलाकर यार. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Deepa Karmakar, I meant. I'm sorry. Deepa Karmakar, I meant. Deepa Karmakar, okay. Yeah, gymnast. I'm sorry. This is my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. Okay, gymnastics. So Sunita Malakar is a close cousin of Deepa Karmakar, so I got confused. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, gymnastics, and she ended on the fourth position in the Rio Olympics that were held in 2016. Okay. So yeah, so you need to talk about all these examples. What I'm trying to highlight here is that okay, you need to have this background about women players, Saina Nehwal, Sania Mirza, PV Sindhu, Deepa Karmakar, and all these people. So you can use their achievements and you can tell okay, women in sport, how what is going on there. And Mithali Raj, yeah, that is for cricket. She was ICC Cricketer of the Year, I think, amongst women players. Mary Kom, yes, boxer, yeah. So yeah, you can talk about all these things. So that's where you need to know, like, who are these people? Who is Mary Kom? You need to talk about all these people. And then from entirely from the interview perspective, please pardon my handwriting. It's not that bad. It is just coming bad in this thing. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Interview may what happens is usually you might be asked direct questions like headlines. For example, headlines of the last 1 week. Uh, like any prominent newspaper, you might be asked by the interview panelist like what were the headlines of the last 1 week? What were the important developments? You know, whenever you go for the interview, and it could be a direct question also like what were the prominent things in budget 2018? What were the prominent highlights? So we'll cover all these things, of course. But then, yeah, budget 2018, so they can ask you. So I was asked, I remember in my IFT interview, that that was a budget week, and straight away they asked me that, okay, uh, what is the highlights of the budget that was presented that year, 2014. So the elections were about to happen, and a lot was going on in 2014. So yeah, so naturally it was a important topic at that time. And yeah, so one thing I just it just stuck to my mind. Okay, so okay, yeah. So if you want to jot down anything, so there is not a lot that you can jot down. It is just for giving you a perspective why general knowledge is really important. One thing that I wanted to talk about is that a lot of people, I don't know how many of you have got calls from different colleges and how many haven't still yet really got it. But then general knowledge is something that you need to consistently work upon. And what I'm saying is this, just please don't wait for the results. So it requires a very consistent effort from your part. And, it is not done if you're thinking that, okay, I have a call and I'll do the thing in the next 5 days. So I'm really sorry for that. That will not happen. 5 दिन में कुछ भी नहीं हो पाता है in general knowledge, and current affairs का भी होता है that you gradually start building up the background. So suppose you have not been doing it, we'll come to that how we're gonna do it. I'll give you certain suggestions, of course. That's why we are here for, and we'll be discussing about the things that you can do in general on a daily basis, how you can go about it. But then, yeah, definitely you need to put a timely effort into it, and don't just think that okay, it is just like that is the difference between quant and LRDI versus this general knowledge. So general knowledge is it's like a marathon. Wo, you have to just keep on running, and the more you run, the better it is. The more you build up your stamina, the more you are aware of different things, and the better it is for you. And बाकी जो quant होता है and you know, quant, LRDI, all these things, they are actually your ability. So if you have that ability and if you attend, say, Nitin sir's session, so you'll be able to do it automatically. But then you can do it in boot camp if you attend Nitin sir का तो और कुछ भी नहीं करा ना अगर लाइफ में मतलब उससे पहले तो even then you can really um, you can clear CAT and get a good percentage, a good percentile over there. So that's your innate ability. But general knowledge, no. You need to be aware. You need to put an effort, okay, to know what is really going on in the surroundings, and that's how you have to proceed. So don't wait for results, and just get started with the thing. Okay, so types of general knowledge. So I want to at CB we might have an extempore during BI. Any particular area we should focus on in GK. So extempore itself, it means on the spot. So it could be an abstract topic as well. Ashima, it could be an abstract topic. They could give you a letter like M. So they might ask you letter M and you have to speak on that. So then that is your creativity. But yeah, definitely, um, yeah, so we are coming to that, Ashima. Just give me, we are just going to that only, that particular part. Um, yeah, so types of GK. So one particular part is static, of course, that's how I classify it, and one particular part is dynamic, right? So what do I mean when I say the static part? So static part is essentially uh, static part is essentially all the facts and figures. So the sun is rising in the morning, so that is a particular fact. The heliocentric model, that is true. So the Earth is rotating around, sun. So that is something that is having a fixed answer. It is not likely to change. So by starting, I actually mean that you know. Just hold on. Sorry. Static is something that is answers are these same all throughout. And the next thing that we can, so for example, when we say that the answers are the same, so for example, IMF, the abbreviation of IMF is the same, International Monetary Fund. When we talk about say invention, so who invented an electric bulb? So Thomas Alva Edison is the person who invented the electric bulb. So that is like a universal fact. It is always true. Earth is rotating around sun. So these are all static portions. IMF inventions and abbreviations, etc. These are uh, these are very basic things that tend to remain constant, and they are not likely to change. It could be any historical fact also. Uh, For example, when was the second battle of Panipat that was fought? So these are all static portions that are consistent, and they are not really likely to change. So you need to put a lesser emphasis on this. That is one of the suggestions that I want to make, because usually in the processes that you're going to experience now onwards, you don't have that much. So nobody is going to ask you like who invented an electric bulb, okay? And they might ask you about Padmavat and the history of Padmavati and Rani Padmini and stuff like that, Alauddin Khalji. But then there is a particular context to it, that it is going on right now in news, and it is there in the news. Otherwise, nobody would have been interested to really ask you about these things. But then yeah, it is always better that you have some brief background about the strategy and knowledge. So I'll tell you how you can exactly do this particular thing. Again, this is something that you have to do yourself. The more you have been reading about it till now, the better you'll be in a better position that way. And if you have not been doing it, then yeah, this is the high time to do it. I'm not saying that put a lot of emphasis to it, but yeah, the more you know it, the better it is. So that is like the highlight that I want to say. And of course, when I say that, okay, this is like the static version, and the more you do it, the better it is. It doesn't mean that, okay, if you don't know it, then you are at a loss. You are at a terrible loss. You are at a loss, of course, compared to the person who knows about certain things, but then you don't need to be that much worried. So dynamic quotient is something that if you're not doing, then you are at a loss, definitely at a loss. So dynamic quotient, when I say that is definitely more important. Um, and the most of the emphasis during the sessions as well will be on the dynamic portion, the current affairs, and it could be anything. It could be the economics of it could be about the macroeconomy of India. It could be about world economics. It could be about the polity, what's going on, in the politics, the political arena of the country or even abroad. Something that is of importance right now, the polity, and after that you have the latest who's of who who's who. So, for example, year 27 witnessed the election of the president of India. So, who's the current president of India? I need some answers here quickly. Okay, Pravneet Singh. Okay, you got it right. Okay, Ramnath. Arey, Ramnath, ऐसे मत बोलो, Yashwant. You don't have to. Kovind. No, he's not your, neighborhood friend. You have to. No, no. I'm just telling you. So yeah, a lot of the times, these things are very important when you go to the interview. Then yeah, Shri Ramnath Kovind, for example. So that is like the right way to answer these questions. You might be not liking the president of India. That is completely fine. But then in an interview, if you're speaking in public, then you need to, it's a very honorable position, and you have to really uh, use the salutations, Mr. Doctor, Honorable. When you're talking about Supreme Court, for example, it is in news, so you have to always say Honorable Supreme Court of India. Yeah, so you have to give respect to the people. So that's how. Yeah, dynamic question, current affairs. You can also, when we talk about polity, you can talk about elections, for example. Um, so presidential elections happened 2018. Do you know what all states are going to elections? This is in news. Any idea? Mizoram, Manipur. Manipur has happened already. Okay, Karnataka, good. Okay, Nagaland, Meghalaya, right? That is correct. Okay. So three northeastern states, they were recently, yeah, Tripura, good. Okay, probably good. So three northeastern states of Tripura, Meghalaya, and Tripura, Nagaland, and Meghalaya, yeah. They were notified recently by the Election Commission for elections. And Karnataka is another state that's going to go for elections. Mizoram is going to go for elections later on. And Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, all these are the states that are going to go in elections. So, for example, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan were in news, so you can actually guess why they were in news due to this Padmavat controversy. Lots of politics going on there, So all these people become active. Suddenly, the politicians become active when there are state elections when they are due. So it's all politics, nothing else. What's going on with Padmavati? Anyways, in which ways, that's not really our concern. Let the politicians do their work and we do ours. The general pointers about current affairs again. So yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is that you need to give some time to it. That is very important. If you are, so I don't know how much time do you guys have with you to really buckle up for the current affairs portion and Uh, so, so which is the who's having the first process here of interviews? If you can just tell me, it'll be helpful. Like 4th February, okay. So Ashima, okay. So is it symbiosis, Ashima? I think 2nd February. Okay. Okay, symbiosis for Ashima Nihar. Oh, 31st January SIBM. Okay. Okay. Okay, so SIBM, most of the people here. Okay. And that's gonna happen in the next. Okay, so I was initially thinking that we're gonna have 13th February in Asimonji. Okay. I was initially thinking that maybe we'll have I am Kozhikode. Okay, Vinita. Okay. I was thinking that maybe we'll have just 2 sessions in a week, but then if you guys are having things lined up in the next week itself, then we can actually expedite it. We can have maybe daily sessions or something like that to really give you a perspective. And I'm not really sure what is the status of your this thing preparation regarding current affairs, but then definitely it takes time to if you've not been consistent, then it takes time um, to to really reach to that level which is expected of you when you're going to the interviews. So I suggest that you actually try to give at least an hour right now. Whatever you do, just try to figure out a way to um, read something about, and I'll give you the sources in just a moment from now. So you can refer to those sources, and you can actually channelize your preparation to do well in your processes. So 1 hour at least is what I'm expecting, that if you give, then gradually you'll be able to build that base that is needed for different topics, and you'll be able to memorize as well different things, and that will give you more confidence. So confidence is, of course, that's what they're testing in the interviews. And current affairs really, that is something that really gives you a lot of confidence, not just you know in during these processes, but then in general, it is giving you a lot of confidence. Um, you can beat anyone in any kind of debate or discussion anytime if you know your stuff, right? Knowing your stuff is very important. So the more you research, the more you read, the more you study, it's definitely gonna help you. Not just during the processes, but even later when you go and join your colleges, and when you have your summer internships processes lined up. So definitely, all these things, whatever you're gonna do as a part of your current affairs, it will help you. So, any questions anybody has till now? I'll take a brief pause here for a minute. Anybody has any questions about things we have discussed? Anybody wants to add something? They can do it right now. Am I going too fast or too slow? You can tell me that. Is the speed fine? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, no questions. Okay, I'm assuming that there are no questions. Okay, we'll move ahead in that case. So, what are the sources? So when I talk about, say, static general knowledge, so static general knowledge, I'm sorry, I strongly suggest that you take this particular book, Manorma Yearbook. Okay, so Manorma, the latest version, I think Manorma Yearbook 2018 must have come out by now. It's a thick book. Don't get bogged down by the size of it. Uh, Manorma Yearbook is something that is like a complete package. There are a lot of other yearbooks also. One of them is Pearson's. A lot of people do Pearson's. A lot of people do Tata McGraw-Hill. Tata McGraw-Hill, there is an yearbook. All these are pretty good. Pearson's is somewhat concise, but yeah, Manorma is something that is even used by civil services aspirants. And if you are able to do Manorama yearbook, if you are able to read something, so when you open the book, you will go to its index. The best way is you know to pick up any random topic. Go to any random topic, just pick it up and just read about it. The best way to do Manorama yearbook is this. All so I said that you need to devote at least 1 hour every day to really get started about different things. So pick up any random topic that might be of interest to you. Don't get bogged down by the size of the book. I'm telling it again and again. Static general knowledge. If you want to have a command, if you are able to do Manorama yearbook, in it depends on your reading speed. So if you are able to read books pretty good, then just go to any particular topic of your choice and just read and just try to highlight. Use a marker maybe, or if you are fond of making notes, then make notes of that particular topic. And so notes are definitely handy when you want to refer it maybe before a process or something. But otherwise, highlighting different things in the book itself is good enough. But yeah, of course. So one golden rule is to strengthen your current affairs is 24-hour rule. So 24-hour rule says that suppose you read a particular topic on day one, right? And if you revise that thing within the next 24 hours, मतलब एक दिन के अंदर अगर तुमने सेकंड डे में उसको रिवाइज कर लिया, so that particular thing is gonna be etched in your memory forever. It's a tried and tested technique, right? So 24 hours if you have a gap and yeah, so you're reading something today and if you're revising it by tomorrow, then definitely that will be etched in your memory forever. Matlab, until unless you have a major memory problem, that thing is going to stay with you. So this is something that I do that, okay, whatever, Gajini, short-term memory loss. No, not really Gajini, but yeah, 24-hour thing is something that I've tried and tested myself. So probably if you can try it out yourself, if you read something, just try to revise it the next day, and you can get that thing done. So static general knowledge is then the current affairs, the dynamic part, the uh, current affairs. Yeah. So one thing that I want to start with is newspapers. So newspaper is like the Bible, Gita, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Newspaper is something that you need to be, if you want to do anything in current affairs, general knowledge, you need to read newspapers every day. A lot of people do it. A lot of people have been reading, the editorial portion of Hindu for improving their verbal. If you're doing that, then that is well and good. Editorial still, covers a lot of things. Um, we used to. Okay, yeah, so when I say newspapers, there are two things. One is the general newspapers, for example, Indian Express and even Hindu. You can even read Times of India, but then Times of India has a lot of, kachara, as I say. There's a lot of useless things that it keeps publishing. So I'm not really fond of Times of India, but yeah, a lot of people do read Times of India, and they do read a lot of people who consider themselves as intellectuals. They refer to Hindu. But again, Hindu has a lot of biased perspective towards things that are very anti-government, especially the current government. So you can follow, if you don't have any opinion, then you can actually frame your opinion by reading Hindu. So I initially formed all my opinions on the basis of whatever used to come in Hindu. I used to follow that blindly. But then gradually I realized that it is biased in certain aspects, and it's very anti-government. So then Indian Express, I found that it is more or less neutral. And the problem with Indian Express that used to be there initially was that there were factual errors at times. But now I've seen, I still follow the newspaper Indian Express, and now it is more or less fine. So I don't see any factual error, at least in Indian Express. So yeah, you can follow Indian Express, and yeah, pink newspapers. Second thing is ping newspapers. So two newspapers I'm suggesting you right now, if you have not put really any effort till now in current affairs, then ping newspaper is a business newspaper. So for example, there is Mint, there is this thing, Economic Times, there is Business Standard, and there is Hindu Business Line. These are the four newspapers, pink newspapers. You can pick up any one of them actually. Mint is by far the best, I guess. I used to follow it during my college days. I don't get the time right now, otherwise I'll do it even today if given a chance. Business Standard is my second preference. Economic Times, yeah, okay. Yeah, Mint app. So I'm actually coming to that as well. There are, yeah, Mint app as well as TOI app. So you can install these apps, even the Hindu app. So it will be if you're using the, yeah, InShorts is another, yeah, good thing. Napily InShorts, InShorts is there. Napily. Uh, they are actually doing complete analysis of a particular topic. So, so you can actually use these apps to get a perspective and that critical analysis, critical thinking I talked about. So you can use these two particular apps actually to get a wholesome perspective. So suppose there is a Padmavati controversy right now going on. So you can get the complete download from here. You can just spend 5-10 minutes. You can just swipe down and swipe left the screens, and you can just do it. And if you want to get the things as and when they are occurring, then these newspaper apps they are pretty handy. Mint your Hindu. So I'll definitely suggest. So if you are very tech savvy, if you don't want to go to the newspaper, then you can follow the app route. But I am more of a traditional person, so I'll any day recommend you to pick up a newspaper every day. And uh, you know, uh, had I been at your place right now, I would have picked up Indian Express and Mint every day and would have gone through it every day. Indian Express 1 hour, Mint 1 hour. Like overall, yes, I'm saying that okay, 1 hour is something that you can give, but yeah, that is uh, okay. You get the Indian Express. Yeah, 1 day late is fine. That is okay. Like that is perfectly fine. What I'm trying to say is that you have to read the newspaper every day, and just don't go to the city section there. When you're reading newspaper, there is a way to read the newspapers. You can actually skip all the chori dakati wali news. Some robbery must have taken place. Somebody must have snatched a chain or something, or some Congress or BJP might be doing, Aam Aadmi Party might be doing something in their, respective places. So you don't need to really study that particular part. You can study about some kind of controversies, uh, some kind of issues, like for example the Padmavati issue right now. GST was, being covered every day, so you can definitely see what is the update related to those things. Um, and and definitely something, so it might be a government scheme that might have been discussed in the newspaper. There is, for example, yeah, Aadhaar, of course. There is this explained section in Indian Express. So every day, I think more or less every day they have this section, and there they try to discuss about different things related to the current topics. So they try to cover the entire topic in detail. If there is a Padmavati controversy, if there is Aadhaar related Supreme Court judgment, then they can actually they'll be discussing about it. If you want to follow daily current affairs, then there is an app called GK Today. This is something that I used to follow when I was preparing for civil services. So I used to prepare for civil services some time back. I wrote the mains exam, um, but then it didn't happen. The interview call didn't come, so that happened twice. But yeah, during the preparation part, I used to follow GK Today religiously. I know this guy personally, and he's like he literally puts his sweat and blood into making things work. Either you can follow the website or you can do the app. So this is more or less. I still have that app actually. I don't use it a lot right now, but then I still have that app, and that app actually comes up with daily current affairs. So daily important news. GK Today is actually very good. You can use InShorts and Napoli, of course. Um, I don't want you really to overburden yourself. These are the things that you can do, when you have some spare time and you are sitting amongst people, chit chatting, and you want to Facebook खोला उसके साथ साथ जीके टुडे भी खोल लिया and कोई ना कोई न्यूज़ होगी उसका आर्टिकल ओपन करके and you just read it from there. ठीक है, so that thing is something that you can do, and newspaper is a must. I actually want to emphasize again and again that newspaper is like the basic thing if you want to be strong and confident in your current affairs, in your everything. So newspapers is definitely something that you have to follow. One general newspaper, one pink newspaper. If you uh, can follow them, that is really good. और कुछ भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है मतलब you don't need to do anything else. You just need to follow the newspaper and yeah, that is done. GK Today will have a month-wise section. For example, in shorts will be covering stories. In shorts and Napoli, what they do is they cover stories, and once the story becomes old, that goes into archive. But GK Today will have sections. For example, there'll be a month section, and there they'll be having current affairs related to December. They'll be having January and February in times to come, and so on and so forth. November. So you can actually go to a particular month and you can just see that okay what all were the important things that had happened in that particular month. And then there is a Google News app also, or Google News. So the Google app that I have has this news feature. So I see it in the morning and at times in the afternoon, and everything within those 3-4 hours, the entire top page gets changed. So it gets refreshed at a good frequency. So if you can search for the facts of 2017, will do from Manorama. Yeah, that will be a very good option. But I'm not sure whether you have actually read Manorama before or not. So if you're just gonna start it right now, Nawab, then you might take a lot of time. But yeah, if you make it a practice from now on till the time you're having your processes, then Manorama is a really good thing to. Okay, you have read it once, but didn't. Yeah, you cannot complete such books. Don't expect to really complete those such kind of books, bulky books. But yeah, definitely if you are able to do 50-60% of it, not everything, but yeah, 50-60% of it, if you're just able to go through the important events that happened in 2017, for example, then that is pretty good, and that will be helpful to your cause. So you can do it that way. So yeah, so these are the things that you can do. Yeah. So static portion, Manorama yearbook, and you can follow the 24-hour rule. Just to summarize everything, I'm trying to summarize everything. Current affairs, yes, newspapers every day. Um, you can consult these apps as well. In shorts and happily for stories that are currently going on. GK Today is basically you can get a repository of whatever information you want. You can just download the app, and it's not very bulky as well. And you can set Google News updates, Google News alerts in your Google app, and there you can set your preferences as well. That okay, you want to follow sports, you want to follow different things, um, and yeah, you can do it from there. Yeah. Any questions, anyone? I think we had a time of 1 hour. I'll not take a lot of time, but I want to complete this introduction portion. So if nobody has any questions, should we go ahead? Okay. Uh, This is the first one, second one, third one, and yeah, this is the last new one. All right. So, okay. So the next thing is topic drill down. The next thing that I want to talk about is topic drill down. So what do you do when you have when you hear about? I'm really sorry about this. Uh, I'll write it again. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Topic drill down. Oh my God. Yeah. Topic drill down. So please pardon my handwriting. It's not that bad actually. It's pretty good. But on this particular surface, it's not coming, in the right way. Yeah. So topic drill down. So whenever you um, see any topic, what do you really do? So it's a traditional what, why, where, how, and what, why, where, when. Yeah. So if you are able to see it from this particular perspective, I think if you see any new thing and if you are able to uh, see from these, four W's and one H, then you are mostly done, right? So suppose if you are looking at any event, say so you must have heard maybe about this particular thing called Brexit. Are you aware of this term? Uh, okay, Ashima Gaur, okay, Brexit. Okay, good. Okay, Brexit, yeah. So this has been in news. So whenever, okay, of course, sir, okay, that's good if you're aware of it then. So whenever you talk about Brexit, for example, then what is Brexit? So British, the country Britain, if it is coming out of the European Union, uh, so that is the exit of Britain, and that is Brexit. Why that is happening? So because we had a referendum um, last year, and that is like one of the last to last year, and that is like one of the major development um, of that particular year. I think it was 2016 when the vote actually happened, and since then the then Prime Minister David Cameron, he resigned, and then Theresa May took over, and now she's negotiating the Brexit terms and conditions. Where is it happening? So it's happening in Europe, and how is it happening? So there is a particular article, um, for example, that is Article 50 that is being triggered, and in the EU Constitution. So yeah, so EU has its own constitution, and their Article 50 is being triggered when a particular member country wants to leave the union. So that particular article is being triggered, and when that is happening, so there is roughly a timeline of 3 years. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, 3 years. Yes, Lisbon Treaty, right. So there is roughly a timeline of 3 years during which the negotiations have to take place, and if everything goes if nothing goes smooth, then it is being called as the hard Brexit, where it will be very harsh on Britain, and otherwise, if things go smoothly, then it will be a soft Brexit. So something of that sorts. So I want to just give you an idea that okay, if you're aware of Lisbon Treaty, that's pretty good. If you are aware of the referendum that had taken place, then that is also pretty good. And referendum, like if you know, like referendum is when besides the voting that you have in certain countries, smaller countries in India, this is not really practiced. Referendum is something like in Britain when they voted. So they had an option. They had to go to the voting station, and either it was a yes or it was a no. So if the question was whether Britain should be a part of EU, yes or no. So then there were people who voted in favor and there were people who didn't vote it in favor, and accordingly, the people who voted for the secession, they were in greater numbers, so democracy wins, the majority wins. So that's where the Brexit negotiations started happening. And David Cameron, the prime minister at that time, he resigned because he was not supportive of the Brexit phenomena. So he resigned because he didn't want to take forward the negotiations for the exit of Britain from out of the EU. So yeah. So topic drill down is something that so whenever you see any topic in front of you, then if you see it from this perspective, then I think not a lot is left out after that. After you are able to view things from this particular perspective, what, why, when, how, where, and when. Yeah. Right. So this is the topic drill down that I wanted to do. The next thing is important events. So what I want from you right now, that I think you must start doing, is the important events that have happened in 2017. So I have certain things in front of me. If you want to add on, then you can also add on from your end. So Brexit negotiations is one thing that is going on, and this has a lot of impact on the financial markets. Actually, London is a major financial center, and whatever happens related to the negotiations, that has a impact actually all over. Yeah, economy suffered, of course, and the another major issue was Rohingya crisis. So in which country did the Rohingya crisis happen? Anyone? Sri Lanka? Oh no, गलत हो गया है तो. Burma? No, Burma. You don't call it Burma now. You call it Myanmar, right? So okay, yeah, right. So yeah, Rohingya crisis. So I want you to really start reading about all these topics. You just go and Google about it. Try to read it not just from Wikipedia. Wikipedia is actually, you can go and edit yourself. So I don't really trust Wikipedia a lot. So you need to go ahead and go to different newspaper readings and different newspaper articles where you can find the information related to it. So yeah, Rohingya crisis is another thing. Try to read as much as you can. I will definitely try to cover these things besides the traditional things that I want to do. And Rohingya crisis is another. Then there is fall of Mosul. This is important from the point of view of terrorism, global terrorism. So where is Mosul? Is it in Iraq or Syria? Okay, Nawab is asking me a question. Sir, you have suggested the trending topics. Have you? Hope you share more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, I have to do that. So I'll tell you about this thing. So Mosul is not in Syria; it's in Iraq, and it is like the second largest city in Iraq. And the Islamic State, um, ISIS, as it is called. So with the fall of Mosul, actually, the Iraqi army has made a major advance into the Iraq. So they advanced from the eastern side of it, and yeah, so it's a very important event because that has really broke the back of Islamic State, which was spread across um, Iraq and Syria. Khalifa took his oath there. Okay, I'm not really sure about that fact. In 2011, I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, it's a very important place, and the fight against Islamic State has taken a renewed, vigor with the fall of Mosul. And then recently there was a turmoil in Saudi Arabia as well. Uh, so that was another major development in 2017. So this Saudi Arabia is known for what? Mosul, Islamic State is still there in bits and pieces. It's like Uh, it was a major stronghold for Islamic State, but then the Iraqi army advanced from the eastern side, as I said. We'll do it in more detail. It advanced from the eastern side and it was able to capture most of it. But still, Islamic State has its presence in Mosul, but not to the extent that it was having earlier. So, but then, yeah, of course, it was captured from the Iraqi army at that particular point of time, and it was one of the highlights um, because there was a dam as well close to Mosul, which was occupied by Islamic State, and that was in news for a lot of time. And so Mosul was one of the places from where they were actually able to strengthen their stronghold across Iraq and Syria. But now it has happened in 2017 that because of the Russian airstrikes and US-led coalition forces, Mosul is more or less in the control of Iraqi army. Yeah, okay. Turmoil in Saudi Arabia. Again, that is an important thing. There's a lot of things which. So, what is Saudi Arabia known for? Oil, right? Yeah. So that's what how it. That's why it is important that Saudi Arabia. If anything happened in the domestic politics of Saudi Arabia, then that has repercussions throughout the world because they are the second largest producer now. Which is the largest producer of oil? Anyone? No. Okay, yeah, Ankit got it right. Russia. Russia is the largest producer right now. And but then again, the oil cartel, which is controlled by Saudi Arabia, has a lot of control over the oil prices. So whatever even their future options and everything, the oil exchanges throughout the world, Saudi Arabia domestic politics had a lot of impact on those oil prices. And of course, for a country like India, which is like now I think the second largest importer of oil in the world, it has a very big repercussion. So it'll be good if you start reading about all these topics, turmoil in Saudi Arabia. Then there is something that is always in news, that is global warming. So read more about global warming, what is happening, where did the last COP summit took place, what were the major, yeah, Paris summit, for example. Paris was in 2015. 2016, yeah, Paris, no, was Paris was not Paris summit was known for the landmark declarations that were made, but the last summit was not in Paris. But yeah, I think you should read about these things. And Washington, okay, Washington was the last summit, right? Okay, I'm here to brush it up. But yeah, global warming is another topic that I've identified that okay, if you do it, then that will be really good. And the next topic is North Korea. So North Korea, you have a mad person living there. It's called Kim. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Kim Jong Un. Yeah, right. Yeah, Kim Jong Un is the third generation leader of North Korea, and this guy has been in news because of his controversy with Donald Trump, who's the U.S. president, and he has been making a lot of nuclear capable missiles. So so yeah, he has been in news of late, and there's a particular term called ICBM. So you should know what is ICBM. Read about it, and when we come to it, then we'll discuss. So yeah, so North Korea is another important. No, so North Korea is not a democracy. It's a dictatorial, yeah, ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile. Yeah, Ankit got it right again. So intercontinental ballistic missile ability. So he has been financing. So North Korea is like a dictatorial communist regime, and so it was started off by the grandfather of Kim Jong Un in 1953 after the Korea War ended. No, so Korea War actually never ended. They are in a perennial state of war, the two Koreas, North Korea and South Korea. There was a armistice treaty. There was no peace treaty. The war is still going on. Technical terms. 1953 was the year. And so North Korea adopted the communist way, and it was supported by the erstwhile Soviet Union, and South Korea was supported by United States. And there is a lot of difference in the standard of living of people in North Korea and South Korea. South Korea is much more developed, much more advanced, and it is like a miracle. It is called the miracle of Asia. South Korea is called the miracle of Asia because of the amount of transformation that South Korea has been able to do in the last, whatever 60, 70 years. So, but North Korea on the other side, you keep hearing about frightening stories about North Korea, the people living over there, what's going on over there, what is how people are defecting from North Korea to South Korea, how they're running away. And recently, North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, he proposed talks with South Korea as well. So, but then simultaneously, he's threatening to bomb the United States with the nuclear made intercontinental continental ballistic missiles that he threatened that okay, I'll blow away Hawaii and I'll blow away. Yeah, he wants to. I don't know. They're all just like kids. They're fighting over nuclear weapons. They're not understanding the gravity of the situation. Trump is saying that I have a bigger button. And oh, is my voice breaking? Is it better now? Nawab, is the voice still breaking? It might be the internet connection at your place. Okay, cool. Okay, cool, Nawab. Yeah, okay, so read more about North Korea. Start reading about it, and then when we come on to it, international events, then we'll discuss it in detail. North Korea, then the Jinping's elevation. So Xi Jinping is the leader of which country? Yeah, China, People's Republic of China, we call it, the mainland China, PRC. It's again a socialist country having preponderance of capitalism now. People Republic of China, PRC. Yeah. So Xi Jinping has confirmed his tenure for another 10 years. Usually, whosoever becomes the leader of China, the president as well as the prime minister, they have a tenure of around 10 years. So Xi Jinping was, confirmed for 10 years, and now he has been confirmed for another 10 years. So overall, it is like 20 years now. And just two leaders, two Chinese leaders, were able to, in the history they had this feat. So one was Mao Zedong, who was the founder of People's Republic of China, and another one was Deng Xiaoping. Xiaoping. So yeah, Deng Xiaoping and Mao Zedong, they were the two leaders who were there for like 20 years and more. And then it's a very unique thing because usually the leaders are, for example, Hu Jintao, who was the last, who was the predecessor of Xi Jinping. He was there for around 10 years. And Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping was the person who's responsible for the China that we see right now. Deng Xiaoping brought capitalism to China by opening the SEZs. So China has six SEZs right now, and the credit for opening the first SEZ went to Deng Xiaoping, and Mao Zedong was the father of the communist revolution in China. So these seven topics, I hope you have noted them down, or probably if you have the video recording, you can refer to them later. So seven topics in the um, yeah, seven are fine, I think, for now. There are more, but yeah, of course, we can talk about them later. Domestic topics, I want you to read. We'll do it quickly so that we are able to end it by 10:30. So, important events in India. So, what all happened in India in the last 1 year? Yes, GST, of course. GST was launched formally. Okay, so first is GST only. We can mention about GST. GST is everywhere. And another thing was the presidential and the vice presidential elections that happened. as we just talk about this. Yes, triple talaq. Yes, okay, triple talaq judgment came from the Supreme Court, and now the government is trying to get a law for it, and it was not. Yes, Doklam and India-China standoff. Yes. So what are the repercussions of that? Doklam, yes. And ISRO, yes, ISRO keeps launching different satellites. So they launch 100 plus satellites, I'm sorry, 100 plus satellites, which no other country was able to do. Yeah, that was last year. And through the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, when we talk about ISRO, we'll go through the different types of vehicles and what does Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle mean and what is GSLV and yeah, we'll go through it. But yeah, ISRO, you should read about ISRO. Yes, elections is something that you can read about. Different states have gone for elections and how, what exactly happens during elections. That is very important. What is the role of the Central Election Commission, for example, and what is the code of conduct, election code of conduct? When is it enforced? And what happens when the code of conduct is enforced? And who all states, we just talked about the 8 states that are going that are to get that are to go to elections in 2018, but then in 2017, what all states was there who went on to elections and Justice Loya death. Okay, so judiciary is one important thing that has recently come into picture. Uh, it started off with Justice Loya. There's no, not Lalu Prasad Yadav. So this is something that we have to be careful about. That we don't have to go to all these, things. You can read about fodder scam if you want to follow about Lalu Prasad Yadav, but I think that is not very important, right? You should know that okay, what was the fodder scam and Gauri Lankesh murder, the murder of rationalists. Again, I don't think so. It's very important from your perspective. If you know about it, then that is pretty good. The journalist who was murdered, Gauri Lankesh. Um H-1B visa issue, again, not very important because it was there. Okay, so you should, when you're talking about all these things, right? H-1B visa, what is H-1B visa? What is B-1, B-2 visa, right? What is L-1, L-2 visa? You can know about all these. You can read about all these things. So, for example, when I talked about this thing, uh, um, the sources that you want to refer. So I talked about GK today. So there definitely there'll be one news item related to H-1B visa. So you can just go there and you can read about H-1B visa and how it was to affect a lot of Indians. But then eventually Indian lobbies were activated and things were brought under control. Donald Trump did not sign that legislation where that would have deported actually millions of Indians, 500,000 of Indians, 500,000. So yeah, that did not happen. Um PSLV, another, yeah, when you talk about elections, there was also Rajya Sabha elections, and there'll be a lot of Rajya Sabha elections that are going to happen this year as well. There'll be some seats which are going to fall vacant in Rajya Sabha, and then again there'll be Rajya Sabha elections that are going to happen. So you must read about them as well. And ASEAN Youth Summit. Okay, so you can read about. Okay, we'll anyways do these international organizations like SCO, Shanghai Cooperative Organization, and ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, OPEC. I'm not sure whether OPEC was in news recently, but I'm talking about domestic. Uh, you know, yeah, BRICS is another thing. So BRICS is another thing that we can uh, we so all these issues like Babri Masjid, Ayodhya Ram Temple issue, we can talk about them, but they are not very important right now. Like if it hottens up, in the time to come, like the judgment is due, and if it hottens up, then definitely we can talk about it. But right now, it is not very important. NSG, yes, we can talk about the four major, uh, you know, things. One is NSG, the Nuclear Supplier Group. So China is a part of NSG and it is declining India entry into the Nuclear Suppliers Group, and it is that is stopping India from getting hold of getting some share in the nuclear trade, nuclear reactor trade. And NSG is one thing. Then there is Australian group. So recently India joined Australian group. So you can read about it. You can also read about the Wassenaar arrangement and what is it known about. So India recently became a member of Wassenaar arrangement as well. And there was one more term, and it's a fourth thing actually. Um, NSG, Australian group, Wassenaar arrangement, and there was one thing that I'm forgetting right now. But these four things are actually taken in conjunction. So India is a part of actually, except NSG, India is a part of these four groupings: Australian group, Wassenaar arrangement, and one more. So I'm forgetting the name right now. But yeah, so probably you can, whenever you read about it, then you can read about these four institutions as well that India has become a part of. And World Economic, okay, so Economic Forum, our Prime Minister is there. Yeah, MTCR, yeah, MTCR is the correct thing. Yeah, MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, right? So dual use of certain high-tech like elements and the missile technologies, which is very high-tech technology, the trade related to that, and control of this weapon system, certain weapon systems, that all that comes under MTCR. So India is a part of Australian group, Wassenaar arrangement, and MTCR, but China is consistently declining India's entry into NSC. Thanks, Ashima, for reminding me that. Yeah, so we can. I suggest that you really start reading about these things, and yeah, so mergers and acquisitions. Yes, you can do it on your own. Recapitalization, yeah, Mission Indradhanush, that is for the banking sector. Yes, you should definitely read about whatever you're able to. If you know about all these things, then that is pretty good. I'll try to touch upon them whenever I'm going to. So next session, for example, I'm just going to go on to that. It will not take 5 minutes. Like it will take maximum of 5 minutes. That is going to be my schedule. And yeah, of course, we are going to discussing. We are going to discuss different things. One is economics. One is polity. One is some things are not clear. No, I'm just asking you to go through them on your own right now, Nawab. I'm gonna discuss them any which ways. Yeah, we're gonna have a topic-wise discussion. That's what I'm planning to do eventually. I want to focus on certain traditional terminologies that you use in economics and polity, plus the international events and the socio-political events within India. Yeah, if time allows, then we can do the whole thing, but I'm not really sure how much time do we have. So if it is the next week, then uh, things are likely to be somewhat there's going to be a time crunch. So when I talk about economics, so that is what I intend to do in the next class, the next interaction that I'm going to have with you guys. So um, just a minute, just hold on. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the economic systems, socialism, capitalism, mixed economy, stuff like that. Economic systems, then the structures that are there in the economy. This is all, theoretical part. Structure in economics, structures. The next thing is the national income accounting. When we talk about GDP, GNP, NNP, national income, so what does all that mean? Liberalization, privatization, LGP, yes, we can touch about that. We can touch those topics as well. National income accounting is one thing, and then you have inflation. These are the terms that are already, you know, in use. If you're going to read the newspaper, it's being used on a daily basis. So yeah, I'm coming to that. So the next thing is the monetary and fiscal policy. Monetary and fiscal policy. So fiscal deficit and the FRBMA Act, etc., that will be covered under the fiscal policy. And then the last topic is balance of payments. And yeah, there's another thing is the trade, the foreign trade. So foreign trade policy, we can touch on all those topics. When we talk about polity, yes, there'll be certain current events that I'll just take, I'll try to briefly go through them. For example, and these terms, for example, jargon, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. I'll be going through these terms as well, give you a brief pointers so that if it is needed anywhere, then you're able to, really use these terms. Polity, there are three aspects. So one is the legislature. So what do you mean by the legislature? At the central as well as the state level. What do you mean by the executive? And what do you mean by the judiciary? What are the differences between them? And I'll give you certain facts that probably you can use in your essay writing and stuff like that. So legislature, international events as we discussed, and so socio-political events that I just gave you the list. So those things also I'll cover in detail. And of course, I've prepared a list. It's there with Nitin sir as well. We are in the process of updating that list, and we'll be adding topics to that list. And as and when the time allows, we'll be discussing them with you guys. Right. So I think that is it from my part for today. This is the introduction part. It took me a little more time that was allotted. I'm sorry for that. Sorry to extend the session. I thought that I'll be able to do it quickly, but yeah, from now on we'll be able to do things at a faster pace. Now I'm abreast with the systems and how I have to, because I'm using this platform for the first time actually. So that is what took me some time, and the bad handwriting as well. So you can, from your part, you can, as I said, you can start. Should I revise the class if you want, or is it okay? Like, or you can anyways refer to the video. Yeah, that is fine. I think so. We don't need to really revise the class as such. Okay, which is the latest one? I'm sorry. Yeah. So just try to go through these things. Like just try to start reading newspapers. Download these apps. GK Today. If you want to minimize your thing, then just I'll suggest that go through Indian Express and Mint and just download GK Today. I think if you do this much, then you are pretty good to go. At least in the beginning. Of course, you can download Napoli as well as these Hindu TOI Mint apps. So a lot of people do it, and if you want to do it, Google News updates. That keeps coming in my phone as well. So you can of course do it, but then only if you have if you have more time than than what you think you have. And yearbook portion, yes, of course, Manorama yearbook. As I suggested that you just randomly go to the index part and Pick up any topic, just read through it. You'll be able to read certain things. Next day, come again to it, come to that topic and revise it, and uh, start reading another portion after that. So yeah, so this is your to-do list. You can start doing this for now, and where is that? Yeah, all these international and domestic topics. For now, you can start reading about them. And of course, when we are gonna come to these topics, then we'll discuss them in detail. So that is the plan. Any questions, anybody? Or otherwise, we can just end over here. Are we good? Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, just in case somebody wants to contact me. So my name is Akshay Gupta, and this is my phone number. I think that's about it. And if you want to ask something in detail, you can email it to me. KR Kumar Gupta 88@gmail.com. Right. So Akshay Gupta, this is my phone number. Akshay KR Gupta 88@gmail.com. That is the email address. So if you guys want to reach out to me for anything, you can feel free to contact. Right. And yeah, just in case I'm not able to pick up your phone, I'll just drop me a message because during the day I'm working, so I may not be able to immediately pick up your calls if you just in case you dial in the morning during the daytime. So just drop in a text and I'll call you back later. All right? Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. It was great talking to you guys. Okay, I didn't get to hear from your side, but yeah, it was great for me personally. So I think tomorrow is the next class. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we'll start with economics. All right? Yeah, it's okay. Thanks, Sachin. Thanks, Nawab. Yeah, thanks, Ashima. Thanks, Atul. Okay, I'm putting it down. Take care, guys. Good night. Good night.